morning, everyone, here in the live studio audience and also online. Hare Krishna. We're starting our japa circle, and this is a great privilege to have specific knowledge of the entryway into the Lord's heart, as mentioned by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī in the book Laghu-bhāgavatāmṛta, that there are two means by which one's liṅga-śarīra, or subtle material body that holds one to the material world, is destroyed, and one can attain one's spiritual form. The first is by chanting Krishna's names, and the second is by seeing Krishna's beauty. And there's a way in which Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu describes nāmākārī bahudhā nija-sarva-śaktis, that the Lord's names have his full potencies, which includes his beautiful form. And in the teachings of Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura through the Harināma-cintāmaṇi, we find that the Lord has primary names and secondary names. Primary names have to do with the creation of the world. And in the description of the creation of the world, the concentration is more about the living entity who's dependent on the Lord as Paramātmā to supply all needs. But beyond the material creation is the Lord's realm of līlā, where he himself is interacting with his bhaktas. And the names that relate to the Lord beyond the material creation, says Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura, are called primary names. And these names are especially potent. By chanting these names, then one becomes aware of the full charm, beauty of Kṛṣṇa. And by that means one's heart's attracted away from the material world. And all the anarthas are destroyed within the heart. As mentioned in the 11th Canto, 2nd chapter, 11th Canto of the Bhagavatam, 2nd chapter and 55th verse, which is the last verse in the chapter, the perfection of one's devotional service is mentioned. Vrishrajati hridayamna yasya sakshad darir avisha abhihito pyago ganasha rasana pranaya dritangri padma sabhavati bhagavata pradhana ukta. It is said, ukta pradhana bhakta, the highest level of devotional service is achieved by one who chants the holy name of the Lord with love. Pranaya means love. Rasanaya means ropes. Dritangri Padma means that one's able to tie Krishna's lotus feet by chanting with love. And then he goes on to say, Vrishrajati hridayamna yasya sakshad, because the Lord is sakshat, Dari, he's directly within the heart of every living entity. Then Vrishrajati hridayamna yasya sakshat darir avisha abhihito pyago ganasha. If somebody who's not a devotee inadvertently, accidentally says Hare Krishna, then the Lord is so inclined, because the person has said his names, to destroy within the heart of that person unlimited stocks of sinful reactions that have been stored there for many lifetimes. Conclusion, Caitanya Mahaprabhu's process of chanting Hare Krishna, which are primary names of the Lord, addressing Krishna directly, the Supreme Personality of God, who is Swayam Bhagavan, and his internal potency is the fearless, doubtless way of success for all, whether one be a king or one may be a sweeper in the street. So we can try and remember these points, that Krishna has given us access directly to him and his transcendental abode through his holy names, And it is the most recommended method by which one can come to the perfection of life and leave behind very complicated, frustrating, and what's another word? Confounding. It's pretty close to frustrating. Dastardly, repulsive material world by chanting Hare Krishna. So if you don't like the way things are going in the world, chant Hare Krishna. If you don't like the way people treat you, chant Hare Krishna. If you don't like what you're being subjected to, change the subject. Don't look at the phone, look at the bead bag. Om Tat Sat. Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. Hare Krishna. You just have a couple of minutes for sharing, because Guyamakati Prishati, hearing how other devotees are thinking about Krishna, processing any anarthas, chanting, hearing, is helpful for all. So would you like to share based on that? We're in a friendly group, no hostiles in here. Yes. Mukhya, the champion.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I was recently talking with my mom, and she told that she is doing fasting, but then the fasting is kind of acting reverse for her. She has to admit to hospital because of fasting. Then we were discussing that how the chanting of holy name and the Bhagavatam reading is so sublime that it doesn't have any side effect, and she concur, and then she got some motivation to chant, and not motivation, she already chanting, but then she also concur that how this is the best process, like any part of the life. We can do this chanting, and it doesn't have any side effects. And
she was fasting for tapasya?
Yes, like they do certain, like Ekadasi she used to do, or she used to do, but this kind of, she was not able to do all that. So she was feeling discouraged. What can I do? Then I told, this is the best process.
It's better.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That's very important. Who else? Online. Devavrata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I'm currently memorizing the Manashiksha of Raghunath Das Goswami, and I really liked what you said this morning about, if you don't like the subject, change it. Stop looking at your phone, look at the bead bag. And in verse 4 of Manashiksha, Raghunath Das Goswami says, Asadvarta Vaishya Virsajamati Sarvasva Harini, which means that abandon the prostitute of mundane talks or prajalpa, who plunders all intelligence. So I was thinking how the script of the world, it pollutes our intelligence in the sense that Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, we lose the opportunity to be guided by Krishna because our mind becomes so convinced that the circumstances of the world have so much value and so much meaning. Not that there isn't any meaning, but it can take a higher priority as opposed to the guidance which Krishna is offering from within the heart.
Thank you very much. Deep, deep insight into the fact that all problems are solved by connecting with the holy name, not by trying to make a new adjustment to taxes. Okay. A couple more. One more. Unamas. Ekor. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, the one that you mentioned about what Rūpa Gosvāmī says in Laghu-bhāgavatāmṛta, that two things which can help you to get rid of your material body. One thing is the holy name, and second thing is appreciating the beauty of Krishna. That was so nice to remember, especially when you're chanting, that these are the only two things you need, nothing else. So just thinking of that and focusing on the holy name was very helpful, Prabhu. Thank you.
Jai. Dear Śrīla Prabhupada, dear Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, Shri Panchatattva, Shri Harināma-cintāmaṇi Ṭhākura, dear Siddhabhakul, Vriksha, if you so desire, please empower us to always look towards our bead bag as our sole refuge in life, the chanting of the holy name, and not a stopgap measure based on our mental speculation. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please unmute and say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'd like to acknowledge all the devotees who joined online today. Thank you very much for coming. Hare Krishna. And
Thank you.
especially noting our traveling Sankirtan warriors at the top of the screen. Hare Krishna. Thank you for trend setting in the modern Sankirtan movement. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpaduruscha, Kripasanavebhya, Patitanam Bhavanibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo,